Hi, I'm Stephanie.
I'm Seth, and this is
The Forever Young Show.
The most powerful force in this world is a woman who knows who she is, why she is here, and what she wants to accomplish.
And that's where self-care comes in. As a woman, it is my opportunity and my responsibility to take care of me.
Self-care for your mind.
Self-care for your body.
Self-care for your money.
Our mission is to serve women as they fulfill their irreplaceable roles in families, society, business, the fabric of humanity.
So let's get this show on the road.
So Lourdes Rosas, at 34 years old, she was named one of the most successful businesswomen in Arizona, building a successful business in telecommunications.
She has more than 10 years of experience as a mindset and business coach. I can attest to that, impacting more than 4,000 lives on 3 different continents.
She currently leads a team, primarily women entrepreneurs, generating more than $3 million a year in global sales in the health and wellness fields without employees and virtually no overhead.
That's impressive. Her mission is heart-centered, and that's a play on words for the movement and business she founded, and a hope-centered business, Team Hope. Her mission is to help restore lives, inviting you to work with the internal in order to connect that with the external and engage with your life's purpose.
Mm-hmm.
How did we do?
I'm like, I want to meet her. No, just kidding. Hey, it's been a long time in the making. Like, I can't believe, that in those intros, you get to say a lot of the great things about a person, but there's a very deep story of suffering and transformation. So I used to like not being very open about people saying good things about me, but I'm giving myself permission and I'm like, hey, yeah, that's me. Nobody's done the work. I've done the work. And it's an invitation for others to allow their light to shine as bright as they can, because that's the only way that we are going to start making a movement around the world. And if we all give ourselves permission, imagine that world where everyone is like, yeah, I've done this, I've done that, this is me now, and it's a good thing. It's a good thing.
You serve nobody by playing small.
Yeah, nobody. That's
You
correct.
serve nobody by hiding your light. You serve nobody by diminishing your contribution.
I love that from the Course of Miracles. Like, in fact, I read a book. I think probably the only book that I've read, cover to cover in like a week was A Return to Love by Marianne Williamson. And it was such a deep, deep, deep book for me. I cried. And that's when my spiritual journey began. And I started allowing myself to, through those tears, started the spiritual cleansing. And so when I read that, oh my God, like I remember now, and brings tears to my eyes because it's very emotional. We hold so much, of our past experiences and our burdens and, a lot of crap that is not even ours, limited beliefs and things like that, that when you have an outlet to release all that, it's just like, wow, why didn't anybody tell me that that I could do these 20 years ago?
I'm like, yes, I relate to all of that. It's a journey. Something that was brought up in one of our Sunday services recently was not just reading the papers and the scriptures, or, just like we were introducing you here, not just reading the words that are black, but reading what was white. And I think that goes along with, what you've said, all that it's taken to get you to where you are now and who you are, who you've become.
And that goes back to the social media and what's happening in the world nowadays. It's all about transformations. And I think And I know you're going to talk about social media, here in a little bit, but it's incredible. You watch what's going to happen, and social media is going to help us go and recognize where we've been and where we want to be, or this path of healing, because that's what that movement is all about. I'm just loving it.
You made a comment earlier about Lou. You said something about, well, oh, it was after this introduction. You listen to that and say, yeah, I did that. I mean, you want to come to that point where you're not embarrassed to be introduced, you're not embarrassed to be complimented, but to be completely and wholly recognized and live in the moment, say, yeah, I did that. And you said something recently like that I thought was pretty tremendously powerful.
What did I say?
About
Can't
who's
remember.
been here.
Oh,
Like,
yeah. Where was I at? Was it
I
in New
think you
York?
were at a sound bath.
Oh, that's right. I recently went to a sound bath and a breath work class. He took us on this journey, kind of talking a little bit about it. And then he like lets you fill in the gaps. And then, like it was really funny. He's like, okay, you're walking along this stream. And then you come up to this wall. And before he said anything else, I was already climbing over that wall. And then he's like, then you see a door. And I'm like, oh crap, do I have to go back, to go down the wall to get through the door? It's kind of funny. But one of the songs, I don't remember which one it was because I had a lot of profound moments during that. But one of them, it just made me think, oh my goodness, who has been there through my whole journey? Who's the one constant? And thinking of the different people who have been there along the way, but maybe not the whole time, or, bits and pieces, especially like my mother has been there through a ton of it, but not all of it. And, Seth has been a huge piece in me gaining confidence and recognizing who I am and whatnot. But it just hit me so strongly. Like, I am the one constant. I am the one who has always been there for myself. I am the one who's always pulled myself out of that gutter and said, no, I'm going to become better, not bitter. And got me to where I'm at. And that was such a proud moment for me, was to recognize that.
Of course. And not a lot of people are talking about that. It's like the inner child, our
Mhm.
little Lou and our little Seth, the little Steph. We've forgotten about the little one, right? And I think that if it wasn't for network marketing, I would have never stepped into the opportunity to do the work inward. um and that's one. I don't know if you want to call it therapy, exercise. Everyone should go, because there's a lot of little kids abandoned out there that want to integrate,
Mhm.
and we must help them, not because they need us, but because we need them. So
Definitely.
that's beautiful.
I recently did inner parts work, child work, and it was I was absolutely amazed at what I was able to accomplish with
Yeah.
this coach, and going and talking to little Stephanie and
Mm.
realizing what she needed in that moment, and it was mind blowing, life changing, absolutely life changing, to
Yeah.
hold her hand and help her, and to heal and to feel safe.
And to see her just being this strong, powerful, beautiful, you know little girl. I know it's
Hmm.
it's very moving. Like, it, it's hard. I think everyone cries, and everyone just gets, just actually not cries, just but lost. Yeah, I lost it. I
Yes.
lost it. It's sobbing moment.
Absolutely.
Very,
Absolutely.
very cleansing. Yeah.
The first time that I did it, I had mascara on from the day and whatnot. And I'm like, oh my goodness, next time I do this, I am not wearing mascara
No.
because it is just
Oh
all over the face.
yeah. Oh my God. I remember one time, Dr. Felix is my partner in the business. So he wanted us to talk to somebody in Mexico. So we did a Zoom. And as I'm talking to this guy, we're prospecting him, and I'm talking to him, and I realize that he tells us that he's a coach, a transformational coach. So I told Dr. Felix, I'm like, well, we should just go to the coaching that he's having this weekend. and me thinking, it's going to be like an hour coaching, on how to, I don't know, whatever. And the next thing I know is we're there, and it's like a full weekend immersion into like this really crazy, inner music people. Next thing I know, Dr. Felix, which is this big guy, and amazing guy, and I were like sobbing on the floor like crazy. Our hair is like all like messy. We don't really care about the business anymore. It's all about what is happening right there. It's like a tornado. After the weekend, we're looking at each other like, what happened to us? This was just going to be a third party validation.
We wanted to show good faith and say, hey, we understand and we validate your work. Like 36 hours later, right? The most
And
cathartic crying that you've done in a decade.
in my entire life, it was, and not only that, that was only like, there were like 3 levels. That was only the first level. We went back 2 more times.
Oh,
And
wow.
Dr. Felix was flying from Puerto Rico. I was flying from Mexico from United States to Mexico, because this training was in Mexico.
Sounds like something I would go to.
Oh my God, it's amazing. It's amazing.
Next time you commit, and you need a partner, call Steph.
Oh,
That's right up her alley.
yeah, best thing I've done in my life, I think. Well, one of the best.
Yes. So, Lou, what are you most passionate about right now, and what are you doing about it?
Wow. I think that I'm a very passionate woman, and the things that I'm most interested in, and those are right now, it'd be my family. I had a granddaughter, and she's beautiful, so I'm very passionate about spending time with her, getting to know her.
First
And
granddaughter?
first granddaughter, yeah.
Okay.
Actually, I'm going to show you. I don't know if you can see, but right here I have my vision board.
Okay.
So, and this year I
Everybody take
did
a quick screenshot.
okay. So I divided it in four. So this year, 2024, I'm passionate about four things. Number one, right here, I'm passionate about my physical body. So I've been working out, yoga, hot yoga, trying to eat healthy and all that. So keep going safe, strength, all that. For the first time in a long time, I'm passionate about my family and being a housewife, slash like mom. And I haven't done this in a long, long, long time. Like, I'm a workaholic, so this is usually like left for somebody else to do or not do it at all. So I just moved to a beautiful home. Like, this is my office, but I have a beautiful pool out there. This is just a beautiful home. So this is done. So I'm doing good here. I'm doing good here. Now over there, it's I think my biggest passion, not because it's what's most important, because what's most important is my family, but
Mhm.
that's been a passion of mine for forever, which is my work. And these are my goals, what I want to do as far as specific amounts of money and abundance, and what I want to do, but more what I want to create. So I'm very, very creative in that space. And then over here, what I'm passionate about is my spiritual life.
Mm.
That's like one of my biggest passion. And I usually try to go to a retreat, like a world retreat, or do something deep. So this year, I think I might be going to Peru.
Ooh.
So that's how I divided my year. So four things I'm passionate about, which is physical body, my family, and creating a homey, loving environment at home. My business and exploding, abundance, financial abundance, uh, and activating and continue activating my spiritual life, which I think is the source of abundance.
Absolutely. I think that you should add on there not just Peru, but Africa.
I know. I know. I know. I don't know why. And in fact, look at this. Like I should. I don't know how that's gonna happen, but look at this. And this is before I knew about that.
Ooh.
So I
Oh,
do
it's
have
already on
it.
there.
It's already here.
All right.
You just needed your little African angel right here.
I need to call an app. Yeah, for sure. For
She doesn't
sure.
look like an African angel, but she is.
Oh, yes. Stephanie, for sure. Yes. I thought you were talking about the other Africa thing.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
Oh, the South Africa. Yeah, yeah. You're talking about the South Africa. No,
Oh,
No, the
for sure.
humanitarian Africa.
Oh my
you
God.
want to talk about spiritual journey.
Oh,
Oh
it
my God. You see how it goes.
yes.
I'm telling you, I don't know, but you see it right here. There is a,
Yes.
Well,
so,
I claim that space on your board.
then you need to tell me all about it for sure. I want to do that.
Okay.
I think I'm going to send Lou a little picture of you, like a little sitting picture, so she can put you up on that elephant. Right?
Only if Lou was sitting on it
Yeah,
with me.
there's space there for sure. Yeah,
That is
let's
an
do it.
that is an African elephant. It's not an Asian elephant, right? I mean, we you know we've been to Asia, we've ridden the elephants there, we've bathed the elephants there. That right
Mhm.
there, Lou, is an African elephant.
That is.
And in fact, the work that we're doing in Africa, Stephanie was just asked. Stephanie, I support and have kind of been an ancillary support to her, kind of an appendage. But she's going to serve another full term. We've been on the board for a foundation, Hearts and Hands, right?
For humanity.
For humanity. We run an orphanage in Africa,
Mm.
full time. We drill wells. I can't remember how many wells we've driven, but
So far,
hundreds,
250, I believe.
250 wells, and maintain them. And we've talked extensively about that on episodes 1 and 2. By the way, for those who are
Yes.
listening, Steph talked about that, and we had Tish Jackson, who is the secretary to the organization. But we just finished a term as board members, and Stephanie's been asked to come back as a board member for the organization and to serve as the chairman
For fundraising.
for fundraising, so that we can make more of this happen.
Yeah. So when are you going back?
That's actually up for discussion.
There are a lot of trips already planned right
Well,
now.
I think there are only 2 that are solidified right now. There's one in June and one in October. And then they said if I get a group together, we can go. We can pick when, make it happen.
So we're looking at a custom trip and inviting people. Well, because inviting people who have African elephants on their vision board. That's our
Okay,
target market.
that would be me. That would be me.
We pick you. We pick you.
Isn't that crazy? No, but I do believe that. Okay, let's see. I'm gonna go into this rabbit hole. I know, but I do believe that things are already there. I mean, things are already planned, and I don't even know if there is like time. Time does not exist. I mean, it's just so confusing to me at this point because I did this in January. We're having this conversation here in April,
April,
and
almost
we
May.
might be in Africa in October. So, like, I don't know how things just happen. All I know is that you have to tell your mind what you want,
Mm-hmm.
and you have to just trust that God will orchestrate the universe or however it is,
Mm-hmm.
physics. It'll bring it all together, and it's going to be a
Mm-hmm.
perfect plan. So I am no longer trying to control my life. I am pretty much just showing up for the party. So if
Woohoo.
it's meant to be, it's meant to be, and we will be there in October.
Or whenever
Or
we.
whenever we go, earlier or later. Like
Mhm.
we literally, Steph got home from the new year, or like
Board meeting.
for the foundation, and basically just, I mean, she came home on a high, They reached out and said, we want you to chair the entire fundraising for this organization. And well, you should tell that story, actually.
What part?
The story how you were how you had already decided to say no, that you weren't going to chair because it was.
Well, I mean, we've got so much going on and so many good things, but so much going on in our lives. And I feel like, our plates are full. And so I got a call from the board president, and I was doing something with the kids. And so he left a message and asked if I would, be the chair for fundraiser. And I was like, oh my goodness. Like, number one, I'm shocked he asked me. Number two, I don't know if I can do it. I just, all these different things are racing through my head. Do I have the time? Do I have the capacity? And Seth's like, well, what are you going to do? I'm like, I don't know. Almost like tell me what to do, but not telling him to tell me what to
Yeah.
do, because I knew it was my decision. And so I just kept praying to God, and I kept kind of feeling antsy about it, but I think that was just me, because I was like, okay, I've got to call him before this board meeting, which was last night. So yesterday morning on my walk, I'm like, hey, I'm going to call him. So I called him, fully attending or intending to say no. Like, I'm so sorry, I just can't do it right now. And as soon as he started talking about it, it was like the Holy Spirit was like, Stephanie,
Mm.
this is your next step. And I was
Oh,
like,
yeah.
crap, are you serious, God?
We've
Like,
got,
are you sure about this? And I just kept feeling peaceful. And I'm like, okay, I hear
oh, yeah.
you. And so I asked questions before I fully said yes. But I at the, towards the end of that conversation, I was like, yes, I would be honored and humbled to be the chairman for that. And they were very excited that I said yes.
For sure. That's incredible. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank
Mhm.
you. We'll see what, this next step is and where it takes me. But God wanted me to do it. And Seth knows I don't ever say no to God.
So my perspective, my little asterisk on this story by the chairwoman is that when she told me, well, a few days ago, and last week, I said, okay, well, what are you going to do about it? And again, she basically communicated, I can't do this right now. Like, this is too much.
I did.
I know her heart's in it. Like, we just she was on well, she's been on, we've been on the governing board and been involved in our last fundraiser, which was tremendously successful. And guess who gave some of the most amazing support and ideas on that, without,
It was God. I was the
she just
vessel.
had some inspiration. Say, hey, what if we made some suggestions? Again, that's leadership, not
Yeah.
necessarily doing everything, but together with the team, put those ideas into action. And it was wildly successful, like the best we'd ever had.
Wow.
Of course,
And
that wasn't because of me. We had another woman that was
somebody else was chairing. They did an
doing the
amazing job.
fundraising.
Everybody
But
made their contributions, but it just so
mhm.
happened that Stephanie was a huge contributor to the ideas and what I'll call the form, right? It's like when you build a house, they pour a concrete foundation, like they dig a hole and pour a concrete foundation, and they put forms, they put boards and stakes in the ground, and then they pour the concrete into that. The concrete fills the space in the form, and everything that's created in the house is built on that structure, right? The roof isn't the foundation, but the roof is ultimately determined by what that form looks like in the framing and everything. So she made a contribution to the form. That's leadership right there.
Yeah.
It's contribution that affects the next sequence and the next sequence and the next sequence. So she's super talented that way, brings a fresh perspective. And I could tell she was going to say no. And I think I said something like, well, have you prayed about it? You know, and have you
And I
have,
probably
have
said
you have
yes.
you have you counseled with God? And then we kind of didn't talk about it, and she went to the meeting, and I figured she was going to say no. And then she came home from that meeting and started talking to me, and I got this big old grin on my face because I knew.
You mean walk? I went on the walk. And came home and started talking to you, and you were grinning.
Oh yeah.
I didn't go
That's
to the
right.
meeting
Yeah, it
yet.
was right. But yeah, you got on the phone with the chairman of the board, and you came back, and I could just tell. I'm like, you said yes. You said yes. I'm like, yeah, that's so. So the moral of the story is that yeah, there are things in your life where you might think I've got too much going on right now, but when you make space to listen to that higher voice, you're going to be a lot busier and affect a lot more lives, right? So congratulations, chairwoman.
Thank you. Just like us going to Africa, Lou, we're going to affect so many lives. I'm so excited to plan that with you.
For sure. And I've been, asking for it. And I thought, and who knows, like God works in mysterious ways. And
Mm-hmm.
like I said, I just have that corner. And in my mind, of course, is like this lavish retreat, right? That I'm going to go to. But I want to serve. I mean, we've built homes in Mexico. You guys have been a part of it. And
Yeah.
truly, the best experience in the company since I started. I could probably say it was a 3-day weekend where I took my mom, my dad, my two sisters, and all of us contributed to building those homes. And I mean, I have a video of my dad like steering the cement, and it just brings me tears because it's all of us. It's like the compassion, and you see in the love of my parents who I adore, just showing me and my sisters once again, even though we're grown-ups, that hey, we came to this life to serve. We came to serve. And so I'm not surprised that God is like, no, Lou, it's going to be here. It's going to be Africa.
Lou, what you thought was going to be like romancing the stone, like, you know, like whole, Lion King,
I love it.
right?
I love it. I mean,
Is going to be in the orphanages,
so fulfilling.
drilling wells. Now there is a safari that we go on, by the way. There
Oh,
is a
God.
safari. We can also take an extra week and hike Mount Kilimanjaro.
Don't
Right.
worry,
So
I'm not doing that this year.
there are all kinds of options here.
maybe along the road, but not this year for me.
Next year
No,
I'm
but
doing
you
that. I
know
hope you're
what?
coming.
I mean, ever since so when I went to high school, you could choose like somewhere that you could graduate on. And I chose social work, to like being like a social worker kind of thing.
Hmm.
And we worked with little kids in schools, unprivileged schools. And I fell in love with the kids. And all my life, I've always said, if I ever do contribution, if I ever do something, I want to do it. I want to work with kids.
Yes.
And so for sure, I mean, I believe that working with kids, it's the I don't want to say smarter, but just if you can influence the life of a kid, I mean, think about it when they grow up and their lives, because we are affected by what happens to us between the age of 0 and 7.
Mm-hmm.
Just wow. I mean, just 7 years. You can, you meet 50, 60-year-old grown men that have difficult lives because at age 3 or at age 5 or at age 2 dot dot dot, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I really believe in working with infants, and I'll be very, I know my soul and my heart would be just like so
Oh,
happy to do it.
even talking about it, I'm just like, oh, take me back, take me back. Because I mean, we
Wow.
got to go to a few high schools, not to go into all the details, but we got to go to a few high schools and teach the boys. The men taught the boys, and we taught the girls, about their bodies and how
Yeah.
wonderful they are, and what a gift they are. and the men taught the boys, how to treat women and all
Mm.
that. So we got to do that at a couple high schools. We got to go to a baby orphanage and hold babies
Mm.
and stuff like that. That was so beautiful. And their location is absolutely stunning. They have the most gorgeous view. And we got to go to other orphanages and feed them sandwiches and bring a little toy that was donated and just a little tiny candy. And we stop at the supermarket in the morning and I grabbed some bubbles. And some of those kids have never seen bubbles before.
Yeah,
And they were just going crazy and so excited just to play with the bubbles. I
for
mean,
sure.
and the orphanage that we actually just recently took on as our own, one of the girls there, I want to say she was around 9 or 10. And we brought a whole bunch of random toys that people donated. And there were a couple wiffle balls on there. One of
Mm.
the boys, the orphans there, started throwing it with one of the other volunteers. And then this little girl, like, she got the ball and wanted me to come play with her. And we literally threw it back and forth, I want to say for at least an hour, maybe hour and a half. And they would try to come get her. Mind you, these orphans, they typically eat once a day, maybe twice a day. And so
Bless
we
his
brought
heart.
them peanut butter sandwiches and they kept calling for her to come get her sandwich. And she was like, no, 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 because she just wanted that connection to play.
Mm.
So it's just those types of things. Like, honestly, a lot of the times I forget that we even went on a safari unless somebody brings it up because I'm just like, those kids, and all along the way, we'll stop and like hand out dresses or skirts that were donated. And yeah, just it's amazing.
I love what you're saying. So, when you have the opportunity to go through like the basic needs of human needs, at the end, it's contribution, right? It's even more than money.
Mhm.
I think that we've been very blessed with the business that we have and we've been taken care of. And it's time to give back. And I think the people that activate their giving once they have money, they do get to experience the ultimate joy
Mhm.
and uh gratification in life. I love what you guys are doing, and I know that you're giving back, a lot of what God has given you guys, and it's very inspiring. So, and that's why I love, being doing business in the company that I am in, because I believe it's a God's company. I don't. I just
Yes,
me. God is in the middle.
definitely.
I love that. Well, I love that you shared your vision board, and I appreciate the visual. I appreciate the
Yes.
visual, and
I
we'll
was inspired. I'm like, ooh,
Oh,
I
thank
want to
you.
go do this.
so we know that those who are if you're listening to this again, you can go to the YouTube version of the show on our YouTube channel, or you can find it at theforeveryoungshow.com. And every episode is, of course, on Apple and Spotify and Podbean and Coffee Bean or whatever the podcast platforms are, but and YouTube. But you can find it all on the show. And if you want to reference what Lou is showing, then I think, Lou, if you don't mind, if you're okay too, if you can snap some pictures, if it's not too personal, snap some pictures. We'll share those, uh, in our social channels as we do highlights of the show, just to give some inspiration.
Mhm.
So
Sure.
thank you,
Definitely.
thank you. So let's jump into those. You had health. We want to talk about a number of these in episode 1 here, because I know we're going to have you back on the show because we're not going to get through it all in the 3 hours of today. But why don't you take that next question, babe?
Okay. So when it comes to self-care for the mind, what is your biggest strength?
Hmm. So, gosh, I believe that in my journey, understanding that I am not the mind, that I'm not my mind, it's been the biggest realization. So I've spent years understanding or embracing or uh, acknowledging that I am not the mind. So okay, so if I'm not the mind, then who's the mind, right? And so my biggest strength is uh, just awareness. It's just constantly improving my awareness. And this is the present moment. My thoughts are sometimes not my friend. There is this internal dialogue that we all have that is toxic, and I just happen to probably have a bigger or higher toxicity just because my mind is just so fast.
Mm.
Lots of movement, lots of noise, lots of inner chatting, so I've learned that I'm not my mind. So I'm very good at catching it most of the time and bringing myself back to peace
Mm.
and anchor myself into that energy of peace and trust and in the present moment.
Beautiful.
So that I would say that is my biggest strength. And I've spent many, like I said, many years, many hours uh, working that muscle to where I understand when my mind is really not being my friend, it's saying things that are not good, and allowing that tantrum to just like a little kid, right? A little kid would
Yeah.
just start with a tantrum. You can't. Sometimes you can say, "Okay, stop," and the kid would stop, but sometimes they won't stop.
Yeah.
you know, and you just
Mm.
have to kind of give it a little bit of space, but you know that eventually it'll stop, and it'll
Mhm.
be like, okay, quiet again.
Mhm.
So I go through those moments in my life, and I didn't know before. I didn't know what was happening, and it was very painful. There's a lot of suffering, a lot of confusion. Now I know what's happening. So the
Mhm.
more you understand it, the less episodes you have, and the less episodes you have, the more peace you have, and you can enjoy your life.
Yeah, you brought up just like a child throwing a tantrum. Typically, it's getting to the root of it. Why is the child throwing the tantrum? Like, what is really going on underneath the surface? And I feel like, what you said is the same with the mind. Like, where is this coming from? What is the root of it? And once you
Mm.
can figure that out, then it's easier to, you know, move through it, to learn and be able to move on.
Well, it's funny you said that. I used to think that.
Mm.
I'm no longer interested
Okay.
in the why. It's not important to me anymore. You know what I
Mm.
mean? Because is you might, if you start going there, the problem step that I think it might happen is that the mind is very tricky, so it might
Mhm.
trick you again
Mm.
into another conversation that will take you further from peace.
Mhm.
So who knows why the mind does the things they do? You know what I mean? I think it's at the end of the day, it's just about going back to peace, connection with
Mhm.
God, breathing. Um, I just don't. Yeah. To me, it would be like, okay, sit down, mind. Let's have a conversation about why you're doing this, and the awareness in why. I don't even know why. Sometimes there are things that we can't even understand why
Mhm.
we're triggered by the things that we're triggered, and it used to drive me insane, like, but why? I'm like, I don't know, but where does this come from? I have no idea, so now I just choose to, like, whoop,
Mhm.
it's having a tantrum right now. Yep, it's loud.
Mm.
Breathing, going out for a walk, music, podcast, anything, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, it's quiet. Okay, let's go.
Mhm. Yeah.
letting the storm kind of pass.
Yeah.
I think here's my take on that. Have you ever tried to have a reasonable conversation with an individual who is completely unreasonable. Let's just say
Yes,
crazy.
it's
Let's
not
just
fun.
crazy. And
That's
I
an
think
amazing analogy. Yes.
Lou, you're talking about like sometimes we're crazy. Like, hey, sometimes
Yeah.
I know I'm crazy, right? And
Yes.
uh,
I'm just kidding.
so, but
Yeah.
if you've had an experience in your life, and we all experience it to some extent as we try to come to self-actualization of ourselves, right? And the trauma that we experience, the 0 to 7 years of age, our attachment theory, right? Trauma response, PTSD, depression, like all these things going around. Sometimes we are just freaking crazy, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you try to reason with a crazy person,
Mm-hmm.
like I've never really been successful there. I'm sure, and there's sure some professionals who know
No.
how to do that. I don't. Like I don't know how to have a relationship with a crazy person. Um, so finding peace, being aware, removing, I think that can be an effective strategy, uh, oftentimes. And I also feel as I learn more, and I kind of to this point of understanding what's below it, right? Why do I do certain things? Well, if I try to talk to my crazy self, right? If I try to talk to the uncentered part of myself, I might not get the like you're saying, okay, crazy self, let's sit down and have a reasonable conversation. Yeah, let me have that. That's how you make two crazy people, and then you become kind of like when I met Steph. Did I tell you I was tripolar or something?
Yeah.
Like, hey, just so you know, lady, I'm
You
tripolar.
did.
Love it.
I made that up just because I knew, if I said bipolar, she'd be like worried. If I said tripolar, she'd like, you kind of got a sense of humor, guy. But coming to awareness and and sometimes, not everything, but understanding why I did certain things has helped me to kind of go to that next level so that I'm not in this recurring kind of cycle.
Mhm.
Yeah. Now,
That's my take.
Yeah.
yeah, and I do understand that part. The way that I have lived it is, for example, there's these things called like your leadership in light and your leadership in shadow. So we all have our light and we all have our shadow, right?
Mhm.
But that's different to me. So
Okay.
I know Lourdes in the light and what she's like, but I also know how Lourdes in the shadow is,
Mhm.
right? I don't know why the shadows are there and why Lourdes got to those shadows. I just
Yeah.
know that this is Lourdes in the shadow, you know? And understanding Lourdes in the shadow helps me, like, okay, I am not coming out from my light. Same thing with leadership.
Mhm.
There is people that lead from their light or lead from their shadow at times.
Mm,
That's how I look at it. There's this other, and I don't know if I'm going to pronounce it right, Enneagram. Does that
Uh-huh.
sound
yeah.
familiar?
Yes.
That's important. Like I did that, you know, in a leadership retreat, and it was very helpful because you answer these questions, and then it kind of tells you, okay, your personality.
Mhm.
And
Right.
you're like, oh yeah, I'm this or I'm that, or yes, I'm demanding or I'm controlling or I'm this. Okay, I know that, but it's just you just learn in a more like, okay, so I'm controlling, yes, but I just don't go into the why I'm controlling or
Mm,
where does that come from. Does that make sense?
yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But
Mhm.
I think it's super helpful. And the more we recognize us or and accept us, because it's also about
Mhm.
accepting us. And some days my husband knows me very well, and I'm like, yep, you don't even know, but I got all kinds of bad thoughts about you right now. And he's like, really? Well, tell them to go. I'm like, nope. They do not like you right now. They are saying this and this and this, and it's very therapeutic. But he taught me how to do this. He taught me how to exercise, how to, before they would only be in my mind, and I would just do bad things to him.
Mm.
Does that, so it's very important that we know our personalities, and that we also recognize our mind tantrums, and most important, that we do something about it
I think
for
that's
the
kind of
sake of
where it
our
comes in
relationship.
for me is if I can figure out for me, just my personality is I got to know why. What is going on? What happened before that triggered me to become this way or to feel this way or anything like that.
Maybe you're the inquisitive, maybe in
I
your
probably am. I probably am.
the
I have
investigator. That's just
totally.
part of your personality, like, because you're the investigator. You know what I mean? So an
Yes.
investigator will always want to know why, why.
Yes. Yes, I'm pretty certain that was part of mine. Yes, 'cause I mean, I don't know, do you recognize that in me? Me frequently trying to figure out why? I don't know. I know
Maybe,
it is a
maybe
part of
so.
me.
Like that's so not me that it didn't even cross my mind. I don't. I haven't done my Enneagram, so I'm like, I don't know. I'm just a doer. Like I'm just a doer. Hey, send me whatever note you need to, but I'll be out there, right? I'll be dirty.
Well,
I'll have mud on my boots.
yeah, yeah, I am the inquisitive type, and figuring that out for me actually empowers me more to not go back to that place again.
Mm,
And I feel like it's been really helpful for me in my healing journey to figure
yeah,
that out so that I can recognize it sooner if it does come up again.
yeah, for
Um,
sure.
So you talked about muscles. You talked about this developing the muscle of being able to be strong mentally, right? Or spiritually. You got to do the work, you got to do the reps, you got to do the exercise. What does that look like? Like, like take us. So many people might be aware that something is out of sync or out of balance. They might even know what they need to do, but not necessarily how to do it.
And that's good, because for me, I do believe, as we're conversing here, we all are very different. We have different backgrounds, different stories, different breaking points, different styles. So, but for me, I'm also I question everything. I'm always, but why, and I think my husband was like, no reason. I'm like, but I need to know. So he has helped me just kind of to chillax when the why is gone, right? But in my journey, I've been like that since I was a little girl. So I knew that I was born to be in this spiritual journey and get to know different ways to quiet the mind, mainly. So I started with religion, when I was a little girl, going to church. I would love to go to church, and I don't know why, but now I do. It's just I just found this connection with God, and God is very important in my life. So that would be my number one. So if I could, if you just give me one thing, go to God. God will heal your life. Period.
Amen.
Done. End of the conversation. Now, if you need other tools, it would be mentors, spiritual mentors, and I've had many different kinds of mentors, different religions and different philosophies, but all of them talked about the same thing: quiet your mind, and get a hold of your heart, trust your present moment. And so to me, it was very hard to understand that concept, because, like I said, my mind was just so loud. So I would read books. I would constantly, I became a sponge for everything and anything that could help me understand this relationship with my mind, and suffering, and peace with what is, not wanting to change my life. So I went to silent retreats in Europe. I've been to Canada doing this regression into the womb kind of thing. I've been to Croatia to yoga retreats. I've been to Hawaii doing this Honopono. You
I think you're not going to be going to very many of these alone. I think there's going to be another plus one here, because I see this woman. She's always saying, "Let's go to Hawaii and do yoga," or "Let's go here and do yoga," or "Let's go do the," you know.
That's my life. I mean, will forever from now on, that corner is going to be that spiritual, retreat. So I'm very hungry for that. I'm very interested in that. I'm just so passionate about God and spirituality. So for sure, let's do it. Let's go. I know really good places. I know really good, teachers, and it'll be
I'm
amazing.
down.
Love it. Love
Yes.
it. Well, I want to jump into money, because that is on your vision board. And as you're going through the vision board, I had this big old smile, because you had health, you had family, you had work, you had spiritual life, mindset, and outside of spirituality, religion, which of course you've said it, Stephanie said it. We believe it, we live it. That's our anchor. Outside of that, where are some of the areas that we could really serve women? That women are our audience around the world. They're primarily your audience, the thousands of individuals that you coach and help. I
Mhm.
mean, I have been there in Mexico with you and Angie at these women's retreats. I remember that beautiful
Yeah.
yoga center, 80,
Yeah.
I don't know, 80 women in this beautiful yoga. You would have loved this place.
I'm
Absolutely.
already dreaming about it.
Beautiful little yoga studio,
Yeah.
a little yoga studio with 80 people in it. Right.
It
But
was big. Yeah.
architecture is beautiful. The Zen type of gardens around, and I've seen the work that you do with women. So we felt like, outside of, again, spirituality, which is core to our business, where could we really participate and make a dent? Like, where could we make a dent? A little dent in the universe. So that's what we talk about on this show, which is mind and body, physical health and well-being. Both of those are on your dream board, on your vision board, I should say, and money. And I want to delve into this for just a spell, because I think it's one of those areas that most women know about mindset. I mean, we need to work on all of them, all obviously, but the money side, because of our social histories, right? Because of
Yeah.
social norms,
Yeah.
I think that money piece
Mm.
is an area where so many women over the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years, we're going to see massive cultural shifts.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
Women,
About time.
in the workplace, entrepreneurialism, right? Women really talking more about wealth building, right? So let's jump into that, and maybe some of your goals there. I think Steph has a question, and we'll get to some of the kind of the undercurrent there. Actually, no, let's do this before we get to that question, if it's all right. Sorry about that.
That's right.
I had another brilliant idea. In your intro, you were one of the top, you were named one of the top women in the state of Arizona, the United States, one of the top women in business, right? And you talked about your drive and being a career woman. Can you kind of take us there? You were in telecommunications. Talk to us about that, Lourdes, and then kind of and what's required to be successful financially, because you were successful financially. Can you just paint that picture for us, because that's different than what you're living today? And I want to kind of just bring out that contrast. Neither one is right nor wrong, but
Mm-hmm.
we'd love you to give your perspective to women out
Yeah.
there.
Thank you. So when we talk about childhood, I go back to when I was 14 years old, or no, 12 years old, if my dad lost all his money. We were, you know, pretty good, living pretty good life, and then he lost it all. And I think that was the beginning of a journey to go back to what I once had.
Mm.
So since I was 12 years old until recently, that the making money and the money talk was a hard one for me. And I think and I'm saying it was because I believe it no longer is. I know that I'm not there. We will never get there, but it's my relationship with money. It's very healthy now, but it wasn't easy. I had to go through many attempts to, be wealthy or not longer have stress, because to me it was like financial stress, and I believe that there's a lot of people in the world that are suffering from financial stress, and it's not fun at all. I thought I need to work hard. That's what I did. That's what I was taught. That's what I saw my parents did. I worked hard, and I was at the right time, at the right place with the telecommunications industry. And I was 26 years old. I had 27 years old. I had just had a baby, and I knew that I had a responsibility, with this baby and in my life. So I worked really hard, and we just happened to be at the beginning of this momentum curve with the cell phone industry. So we did, we rode that wave momentum. So I know when you guys talk about, in our business, like about momentum, like I know what that means. I lived it in the traditional business. So it was a very just long hours, a lot of work, hard work, and we made it until we lost it all in
Mm.
the 2008 crash. And that's when, everything just like, okay, now we're going back to not having anything at all. So it's been this
Yeah.
battle of making it and then losing it, and then making it and losing it. But that's part of building your relationship with money. So now I can tell you that my relationship with money is different. I've been able to understand, keep the money, make the money, keep the money, and on my way to create more. Because the way I see money now is from, I don't see it from a low vibration or low
Mhm.
frequency, like fear of losing the money, or, like shame, or, worry. I look at it as, abundance. The definition of abundance is that there's enough for everybody.
Yes.
And so that's the difference between before, and that's why I'm here. And
Mm.
just really recent, like I would say, it took me a long time, like from 12 years old to probably 50 years old. Imagine all those years it's taken me to finally have a good relationship with money. So I do believe that this is a subject that we must talk about, and many people are not taking advantage of their birthright to have a good relationship with money. And it takes money to change, the world. Like you're saying, Stephanie, you need people with money to donate it so that we can help Africa. If you don't
Yeah.
have money, you can't give money.
Definitely. Well, and it gives you a freedom to be able to go on these trips or, like you said, donate for a water well or, so
Yeah.
many things. Something that I have heard a lot of people talk about is, some people think that wanting or going after a lot of money can be an evil thing, especially in like Christian communities. And to me, money's just a tool, it's not good or evil, but it will enhance what you can do. If you have money, you can give back, abundantly more in ways than if you didn't have money.
Yeah, I don't know. And I think that's a limited belief that we were, it's a seed, that somebody planted on us. And we all did.
Mhm.
It's like, why? No matter where you go, you talk in Mexico about what did your parents tell you about money? And they always say, oh, it doesn't grow on trees. You
Yes.
come to the United States, so what do you hear about money? Money is the root of evil. You go to Japan, and is it like, what happened? Why
Yeah.
money? Could be something else, but it was just money. Like money is just energy, is nothing. I mean, I don't understand it. It's like love, or other emotions, just money. I don't know, not emotions, but just energy. So if I give, if you people like a couple like you're good people.
Can you
You
say that again?
yeah. You, Stephanie, and Seth Mulder are very good people, and you deserve to have millions, billions, trillions of dollars in your hands because I know what's going to happen with that money.
Thank
I
you.
like that. I think we're going to make a soundbite out of that. Let's. You know what we should do? We should put that on part of our audio vision board,
Yeah.
and just like every time we walk into the office in the studio here, lose voice. It trips the recording. Seth and Stephanie.
It could be your alarm clock in the morning. Seth
Yes.
and Stephanie Mulder, you are trillionaire. You know, trillionaires do that, or billionaires do that. They have a constant reminder. That's I mean, they're programmed that they already are millionaires, and it's a good
Mhm.
thing.
Mhm.
Well, you are. Everybody listening to this, you are managing. I'm gonna take you on a little funky little ride here. So I've done this as we've coached women around the world, and I've said, how much are you managing right now? You think about managing money, right? How much are you managing right now? And people will usually kind of come up with a number. Maybe they'll come up with their net worth, or they'll come up with, most often actually people will just come up with how much they make,
Mhm.
right? Because we're kind of in this idea that, here's how much my company pays me. That's how I was when, I worked for corporate America for 10 years. Uh, and I say, well, what if I told you you're actually managing millions right now? You're a money manager. You're a financial manager. You are managing millions. And most people don't think that they're managing millions. I said, listen, you might be managing millions of pennies, right? A million pennies, right? Which is, how much is a million pennies? And go do the math. It's, what is it, $10,000 or something like that, $100,000, right? You might have $100,000 net worth. That's a million pennies. Okay. Something like that. We have to do the math. It's been a while since I've taught this. So don't get lost in the numbers here. But the reality is, if you had a million pennies, you'd have, a certain amount of money. You're already managing millions. What's the difference between managing a million pennies and managing $1 million, or a million dimes, or $1,000,005 bills? They're just a million units. So if you can manage a million small units well and efficiently and make that multiply and grow, then guess what you could do? You could just as easily manage a million larger units, right? We're all millionaires. It's just how big are the units, the little blocks that you're managing. So when I start to think about it like that, I go, wait a second, I'm already managing at this level. So I could manage it at another level, and just kind of like opened up a little gate in my mind and said, wait a second, right? There's so much opportunity out there, right? But like you said, I think many people have a bad relationship with money. You talked about some of the subconscious, or the training, pardon me, the sayings and the falsehoods that have trained and programmed our society. And we are products of our society as well, as agents to affect change in our society. Money doesn't grow on
Trees.
trees, right? You feel filthy, stinking,
Rich.
rich, right? Wait, right? Sometimes people say, rich people are, and sometimes people say, well, they might say greedy or something. And there's all these
Oh, I was thinking fat and happy.
I was just, well, exactly. And that's why you
You've
are,
already been programmed to this.
yeah, that's why you are where you are,
Yeah,
frankly,
exactly.
I'm
right?
fat and happy.
I just walked into that one, folks. I
Yeah.
just walked into that one.
You totally did.
Wow. Wow.
I know I'm not fat. Go on.
You are happy, baby. Uh, but since why do we have this connotation that money is filthy, filthy, stinking rich,
Mhm.
right? Like, I mean, if so, changing the narrative, changing our definitions of what that is critical. Or sometimes for people, money is scary. I've actually heard this. I've heard it put this way. I don't want the responsibility of that money, because what if I can't handle it? What if I don't manage it the right way? Right. And all of those statements at some point have their root in ignorance of truth, reality, or more likely fear. Right. And anytime we're doing something that's based on fear, we're now going down to the shadow person, the shadow you, right?
Those low vibrations.
Yeah, it's all about. So I once was doing a training or a workshop, and this lady, we were talking about our relationship with money, and she shared that when she was a little girl, her father had a lot of money, and he was killed because of that money. So imagine now, her as an adult, her relationship with money. So a lot of, we should all look into our, story, like from when we were little. In my case, I was telling Stephanie, my dad had money, lost it all. So it's about, I don't want to, I want to make it, but I don't want to lose it. Or it's just this losing this money, not being able to keep it. So I had to heal, my that trauma, release it, and somehow, now I'm not afraid, and I don't have the fear anymore. But it took a long time. It took many, many, many years. So everyone should at one point take a look at their core beliefs when it comes to money. You'll find so many answers, and we have to do it because we could be wealthier and happier, like Stephanie.
That's right. I'm just going to say it: fat and happy, right? We're talking about the fat of the. We're speaking from a biblical standpoint here. You will live on the fat of the land,
Yeah.
right? That's another word for abundance.
I'm going to make you
Yeah.
a shirt that says "My wife is fat and happy."
And then you walk in and they're going to be very confused.
They're gonna like, is that his wife? Right? We're gonna make a new CEO a branded shirt that's gonna say "Fat and Happy CEO."
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. So interesting. I think an interesting part of your story, Lou, is that you were very successful in business and telecommunications. Again, you had the accolades. You're very driven, and progress-minded woman. You leave that and you partner. Well, you partner with a practical stranger from a chance meeting, right? I think in a retail store or something, and you move into the direct selling industry, which I think for many people, I mean, direct selling is one of the most successful industries around the world. Millions upon millions of people involved. I mean, billions upon billions of dollars going to, Main Street homes, right? It is not you can be wildly successful, but it is a business that really blesses the, I'll put it this way, we the people, right? Not, a kind of a, what do I want to say? An unfeeling, monopolistic, overarching industry, right? It really is about the people, right? The people who are doing the work. What led you to direct selling? We've never actually had that conversation on the show, but I think it's such a valuable industry, and frankly, it's such an approachable industry for so many women in the world. That's why 80-ish% of direct selling professionals, consultants, independent business owners, they go by distributors, they go by lots of names and different companies and different products, but they are women. So tell us about that transition from, if you're one sector to a completely different sector, which was foreign to you, and why did you do that?
That is a great question, this is where I see it. Now, like I've been an employee and I've been a successful business owner, um, and I've been a network marketer. And I'm talking from experience. Everyone, that I talked to give guidance, they always told me about having seven, streams of income, right? And I'm like, how do people have seven streams of income, or, like I can barely deal with one,
Like, it doesn't
Um,
mean I need to have 7 jobs,
yeah,
7 part-time
exactly.
jobs.
Exactly. I didn't get it. I didn't understand it. So, but, today I'm like, everybody, and I'm saying this because, there are people that are very happy with their jobs. There are people that are running very successful business. I believe that everyone, regardless of you having a good, professional career going on right now or not, should at one point get into direct selling, network marketing, or
Affiliate marketing.
affiliate marketing. Which nowadays is like very similar to digital marketing or digital business, e-commerce. I mean, all that is really becoming, one very acceptable way of living, and people are starting to understand. Oh, so people buy products online. Okay, people recommend products that they like. It's like, okay, we've been doing this for a long time, folks. But I I believe that there's more than the business opportunity. I was a very stressed, depressed, anxious, having difficult with, the creating the wealth with my last business. And yes, we made millions of dollars per year, but the question was, how many do we get to keep?
Mm.
I mean, how, and what kind of lifestyle do I have time wise with my family? But that was the only thing I knew, right? So if you don't know, if that's the only thing you know, okay, all right. But if somebody at one point brings a conversation about entering a really good company's culture and business opportunity, you should definitely take it. I mean, you should definitely listen to the option, because that's all it is. It's a different option. It's an option. It's an opportunity for you to live your life in a different way, and you have to have an open mind. So to me, it's been the best decision in my life. Everything that I've said today about my spiritual life, my physical life, my the home that I have, the travels, to be able to invest in more businesses, is because of the opportunity that one lady by chance, a somebody that I've never seen before, that at the end of a workshop I said something, and I usually am very shy. I'm an introverted, believe it or not. I don't really talk to people, but I believe it was God that said, "Ask her, what does she do for a living?" And I'm like you, Steph, like, what? No, I don't want to talk to anybody. I'm depressed. Remember, I just lost my business. you know, uh, and and I did. I opened my mouth and I said, I taught, looked at her and I said, so what do you do? And that I never knew that would be the most important question for the rest of my life that I
Mm.
could ask somebody. So it's changed my life. It's changed the lives of thousands of people, and it will at the end be changing and impacting the lives of millions of people because of that one question. And because she didn't judge me, and she shared. She didn't know me. She didn't know me, and she just shared from her heart something that she really believed in, and that was an answer to my prayer. uh, so if you're asking somebody that is a big believer, and and I would say, if you have an opportunity, because I believe it's a gift, it's you have to be very lucky, and the definition of luck is when opportunity meets preparation.
Mm.
And I believe that I was prepared. I was prepared. I was asking God for an opportunity to go back, to be able to be stable financially, so that I could do the goodness that I know that He wants me to do. And He said, "Okay, deal. I'm gonna send you somebody. I'm gonna send you an angel. And when you meet her, you just ask the question." And that's what I did. And she's changed my life forever. Every time I talk about her, I get teary. I get really, really emotional, because she truly changed my life.
Shout out to Laura Tuttle right
Yeah,
now. We'll call her out by name over
yeah,
the digital
for
airways.
sure, for
Good
sure.
friend of ours whom we've known for goodness, almost 20 years.
And her life changed forever too, because she was brave,
Mm.
enough to share a business opportunity. And again, I don't know why, we don't talk more about different ways of sharing wealth, working as a team. There's just so many benefits, so many benefits when you find a company that that does it right, that has the right values, the right product, and it's really a vehicle, right? Because prosperity, it's open for everybody. You have to have three things: A, the right vehicle; B, you have to be able to develop skills and in that area; and three, you must work on yourself. And this is a triangle. I learned it from Harv Eker. He wrote the book, The Secrets of a Millionaire Mind, and I always teach it. So I know that we all have the opportunity to become financially, free, which means different things for different people. But you must have the right vehicle. And for me, I tried everything. I tried all the vehicles, and it wasn't until I found network marketing, especially this company, that I was able to check that box, work on the other two, and here I am.
You have a brand. You are making an announcement for your global business,
Hmm.
kind of a rebrand or
Yeah,
a new kind of a new watch cry coming up. And I know you wouldn't even tell me what it was, but you're going to be announcing that in May, right?
yeah.
What? Let's talk to the woman who's listening to this show right now, in whatever country, whatever time this is. What you're going to be announcing for your team, which is not just the team of these women and the consultants and health coaches right now, but that next level of leaders who aren't even working with you yet, right?
Hmm.
It's that woman who it's
Yeah.
that you who was praying for that angel. What, without telling us the name, right, of kind of this new watch cry, if you will, your team name, this movement, what is that going to mean
Hmm.
for that woman who's listening to this?
Hope. And there's two words in the name. So I'm going to reveal one, which is one that is going to stay, and it's hope. Hope was revealed to me. I mean, hope was like a download from God. Like I knew, like I asked, "What is the name of our tribe?" And He said, "Hope." And I'm like, "What does that mean?" And He said, "It means hope, means, hope, like we know, and also means home of powerful entrepreneurs." So it
Mm.
was very clear from the very beginning that God really wanted me to empower or talk about the aspect of, actualization, but He was very clear that we needed to activate wealth in the
Mm.
lives of people. So we're going to have hope as one of the that's going to stay. The first one is the one that is going to change. And if I tell you the first word, you'll know the whole thing because
It's
it's
the
like
reveal. You can't.
it's a
I get
reveal.
it.
But it's about collective. Now it's not about me. It's about the collective. It's about all of us working together. And that's what I love about the era that we're living in, that it just is very inviting to work in a team, in a tribe. And I believe that, if you want to go fast, you can do it by yourself. But if you want to go far, you do it with a team. I love
Mm.
teams. I love working with teams.
The stats, I think not just in our profession, but maybe actually wider scale, all of business, shows that women are 68% more likely to attain their goals when they have, you said collective, I'll say community,
Hmm.
right? And I love that. If you want to go fast, do it by yourself. If you want to go far, do it together.
Yeah.
Do it
Do it in
with,
a team. Do it
do
with
it
a team.
with, what's that
Thank
other
you.
secret word?
Stop.
I'm not. You can't trick me into it. But it's very fun. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be very colorful, and I think at the end, I'm thinking about all the people that were like me in the dark, living in their shadows, that are no longer want to be there. And if they find us, their life will change forever. And that's what's inspiring us to do so. So I'm not doing it on my own. I'm doing it with my team. So we're all collectively creating this. It's a co-creation. We're very excited, and for sure you're going to be invited
We're
to,
part of it.
yeah,
We're part of
be
it. So
part of
we're excited.
it.
We're
Yeah,
excited. We're going to go create, uh, you know, we're going to go create an empire of love,
yeah,
right?
love it.
All right. Well, Lourdes, thank you so much.
Yes.
Hmm.
It's been a pleasure having you as a guest, and I look forward to having you again.
Yeah,
In
thank you so
Africa,
much. Hmm.
in
Yeah, we've
Africa.
already said it. So the universe already heard us. And all these little angels are already, oh, she said yes, and she said yes, okay, it's a done deal. So they're going to be opening up all the doors that need to be opened for you. And I hope that that this journey of really creating wealth for people in Africa, in attracting, or whatever you're going to be doing, activating donations, and people wanting to help, it's big, because we just all need to think like that. We need to think big. We need to stop
Mhm.
thinking about ourselves as small. We are not small. We are very, very important, just as important as the galaxies, the sun, the earth. We're just part of a universe that has no limits. So thank you for inviting me to this amazing conversation.
Well, you brought the fire. And of course, you would bring the fire because you are girl on fire.
Oh my God. Next time we have to talk about that day. I have so much to tell you. I wasn't talking that day. That's all I can say. It was in me, but it was just crazy.
Little cliffhanger,
Yeah.
We'll get to the girl on fire story
Right.
next time.
Yes. Thank you so
All
much.
right.
Mhm.
It's a wrap. Thanks, Lou.
It's a wrap.
And cut. It's a wrap.
Thank you so much for being here today. And thank you for sharing this episode with that one friend who needs this conversation. Thank you for all the ratings, the reviews, the comments, and especially the support. We so appreciate you.
Now, if you want to take a peek behind the curtain and be the first to know about special previews, backstage updates here at the show, and especially some private collection content that doesn't come out in the regular show,
Be sure to join our VIP community at theforeveryoungshow.com.